been called the last movie star, a man's man, a woman's man, and one of the smartest people in Hollywood. It is good to be George Clooney.
He just brought home a Golden Globe and is nominated for 2 Oscars for his work in The Descendants and The Ides of March.
Tonight, Lara Logan and I are invited inside the Los Angeles home of the actor, writer, director, and humanitarian person to person with George Clooney. Hey, George.
Uh-oh. Hi, guys.
Hello,
Come on
George.
in. Welcome.
We're pleased to be here.
Hi, Lara.
It's very nice of you to let us come inside your home, George. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, Lara, you're welcome anytime. Charlie,
You never let up, do you?
I can't.
Why this home for you?
I bought it in the mid-90s, early 90s. I had done, was on the 2nd season of ER, and I was living in a little house, and I thought, well, maybe it's time to get a little bit larger house off of the street so I wouldn't fall prey to every photographer. Here, come on in the kitchen. Well, this is where I, obviously known for my my cooking talent, this is where I order food delivered.
What's inside your fridge, George?
Nothing.
He doesn't know.
There's some lady that makes salads for me, and salads and some sort of a juice thing, because, you know, one of my New Year's Eve resolutions was to eat better and to sort of do one of those cleanses. I'm really glad I did that.
What does a home mean to you? A house. You have 2 magnificent homes.
Well, there's a big difference between a house and a home, I think. A house is a place that you would live in, but a home is a place where your family and friends are part of, and I think that's one of the wonderful things about where I've been for so long. I've been here for, you know, almost 20 years, and
Wow.
And it's filled with good friends and good and family members, and it's a place where I have a basketball court and people come and play basketball, and it's just a fun place to be.
You also see home as security, too. I mean, you've often said, you know, that it's the thing that you want to put your money into.
Owning something from the time I was a little kid was always a very big deal in our family.
Why?
We rented homes growing up. I went to 5 schools before I was in 8th grade. My dad always said we moved when the rent was due, and so it became a very important part to my father and to their and his family, and to my mother and father both, which was, you know, they spent 30 years paying off their home, and so it's one of those things that was always to me, it was a sign of making it, was being able to own your own home. Owning land is a good thing, as opposed to, I worry about making money off of money. I like owning land.
It's a season of awards, and congratulations on the Golden Globe.
Thank you very much.
You really don't have a clue, do you? Dad, Mom was cheating on you.
There are those who are saying Descendants is your best performance.
But they drink a lot, so it doesn't matter. They don't know what they're doing.
All right.
Do you drink a lot, George? Since you brought it up.
I'll show you around the house. You'll understand when you see how many bars are here.
Can we swing around the kitchen and just get a look at it? Because I have to say, I kind of like your decor.
There's a picture there of a baseball player. What's that?
That's Joe Morgan, one of the great second basemen of all time.
If you had been a baseball player, what position would you have played?
The bench.
Because you wanted to be a baseball player, right? But that's exactly where you ended up, was the bench.
Well, you know, Lara, now wait. Well, let's be very clear. I had everything a professional baseball player needed except talent.
That can be a problem.
It is a problem, actually.
So stop.
All right, now here's
yeah, there you go.
Here's a cool thing. I got a call from a reporter who said that a friend of hers was clearing out their garage, and they had a bunch of Kennedy memorabilia that she would like to sell. So my assistant and I went over to just go through a garage full of things, and it was, you know, original invitations to the inauguration, and it was like the most amazing stuff I've ever seen in my life. And they were nice enough to give me a couple of the President Kennedy's ties for that. I really enjoy having.
And the picture below the president?
That's in the Oval Office a few days, about a month after he'd taken office.
How do you feel about politics and being involved in politics as an actor and what you do? I mean, some people, you know, roll their eyes, oh, there goes George Clooney or Angelina Jolie again. They should just stick to acting. But I think you're obviously sensitive to that because this is not something you wear on your sleeve. This is something that seems to mean a lot to you.
I think the most important thing you can do is to provide or get as much information as you possibly can, and then use your ability to attract attention to its best use. And that's really all you can do. I'm not a policymaker. I understand the idea that, well, if you're an actor, nobody really wants to hear your ideas on politics. But I also understood that there are things that you can help affect, and part of it is to bring attention to places that don't get attention. And I find that to be less political in general. I find it just to try to be helpful.
Do you play basketball with the president?
I'll tell you what. I watched him play, and I want to say he can't go to his left.
Really?
Charlie, and that's the most
So it'd be
important
too easy
thing.
to beat,
Yeah.
that's why you haven't played him yet?
No, I won't play him because if he beats me, I'll really be upset.
Are you a bad loser?
You know, I'm not a bad loser because when you're 50, you find that you lose more.
Yes.
So you have to become much more, you have to do a lot of stuff like, by the way, I played Charlie in basketball.
Yes.
He's a very, very bad loser.
I'm not surprised, Charlie.
So here we are at the bookcase. Family pictures?
Yeah, this is my mom and dad. Picture of my grandma. There's an old 45 of my Aunt Rosemary. Rosemary was in many ways, she was a big, big, big part of our life. She was the main focus of our family for a long, long time. And she is dearly missed, quite honestly.
Looking to your right, that looks like a picture of a dog to me.
That's Einstein. That's my dog. I was given the dog from a lovely shelter, but they'd gotten it from a place where they take them out. So it was really, he's a fun dog. Maybe he'll come by later and you'll get a chance to see him.
Why'd you go to a shelter to get a dog?
You know, they're
Where you go to get
first
dogs,
of all. Yeah, and you know, they always seem to be more appreciative. I would be if they'd taken me off the death row. Even the shelter that had him, the really wonderful people that were taking care of him, said, we have to make sure you love the dog. The dog loves you. And so I rubbed meatballs on my shoes, and then the dog came in and threw himself at me. And I find that works also with some actors. You can do that too. As well.
How about directors? Does it work on them?
No, but studio executives sometimes.
We're now in one of the bars, I assume.
Yes, Charlie, you will appreciate this area right here.
It's a nice
What we like to
bar.
call home for Charlie.
What about those photographs on the wall behind you? What's there?
Oh, there was an original Rat Pack picture taken, I think, from Ocean's 11 with Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin and those guys by a guy named Sid Avery. And then when we did Ocean's 11, the remake, I don't know, 40 years later or something, the same photographer took a picture of all of us, Brad and Matt and, you know, the whole gang, Don Cheadle and everybody. So we did sort of tried to do the same setup and shoot it. So they sent me a copy of both those pictures. I thought that was pretty great.
One of the interesting things that people say about you is you have maintained friendships with people you've known all your life. They're part of your friends
Yes.
today. You add new friends and people that you work with. Give us a sense
Sure.
of how you feel about friendship and why it's so important.
I've been in Los Angeles for 30 years. I moved here from Kentucky. And I've had most of these friends since, some of them since one of the first days I moved here. We all just sort of have remained very close friends, and it's something I'm extremely proud of. Oh, by the way, Charlie, this'll make you a little jealous.
Oh,
A bottle of Maker's Mark with my face on it.
before you leave the bar, of all those bottles up there, what is your drink of choice?
Well, I don't know. I drink a little vodka. I like a little tequila. I have a place in Mexico that I spend time at. I like tequila every once in a while. Right now, I've just filled this with vodka.
Hold on to that cup, George. Don't move. We'll be right back. More with George Clooney on Person to Person.
We're back week with George Clooney, and we're going to talk about one of his favorite films, a movie he directed about a controversial senator named Joseph McCarthy and the journalist who confronted him, the great CBS newsman Edward R. Murrow.
The film that you made about Murrow is called Good Night and Good Luck, which was the famous way that he signed off.
We must not confuse dissent with disloyalty. Good night and good luck.
What was the kinship? What did you find that touched you there?
Well, I'd grown up around it because my father so much respected not just the man, Edward R. Murrow, but a lot of the very important broadcasts he'd done. Harvest of Shame, for instance, or obviously going after McCarthy. And I thought it was interesting to talk about the importance of what you do for a living, quite honestly.
Last week, Senator McCarthy appeared on this program to correct any errors he might have thought we made in our report of March 9th.
Why didn't you play Murrow?
I thought about playing Murrow, and I'd written it to play Murrow, quite honestly. And I realized that Edward R. Murrow was this character that always felt like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. And that isn't something that is necessarily the way people think of me. And I didn't think I could act my way out of that.
And now you've made Ides of March, which is also about politics. Why did you want to tell that story?
Well, I think it was an interesting time to talk about how we elect people. If the right guy gets in office, do the means justify an end? And maybe they do sometimes, if that's what it takes. But you do give up something along the way. You give up a little piece of your soul along the way. And what are you willing to trade off?
So it's always seemed to me, watching the progression of your career, George, that you could almost have been a journalist if you hadn't been an actor. Would you have been? Is that true? Does that sound right?
Well, I only lacked intelligence, Lara. Other than that, I could have done it. I'm always very excited by and happy to be around journalists. I get to travel with them a lot, and I'm
on your trips
I'm very
to Sudan,
proud.
Yes.
For example, tell us
Trips
about
to the
Sudan.
Sudan.
Why did you choose that particular conflict to be, your mission?
Well, you know how, and I think you both know how this works. Some things get attention and some things don't. And it really was a genocide. People love to talk about it as, mass atrocities, whatever you want to call it. There were hundreds of thousands of people being killed and mowed down, sort of innocent people. And it needed to be louder. So my father and I went in by ourselves.
Right now we're standing here on the border of Chad and Darfur. A lot of bad things are happening over here right now. My father and I thought we'd come over and take a look for ourselves.
And it was an interesting time. It was obviously something we hadn't done, and we were a little in over our heads. But we were there for about 10 days. I think that it had some effect, at least, in bringing attention.
We're right now in your living room. Explain to me where we are in this Los Angeles home.
Well, first of all, we're in a town called Studio City, which was initially part of the Universal Studio lot. And then, which was everything. They did all kinds of films. And then they started making the lot smaller and building homes. And so this is up in the hills, and there's a park behind me, so I don't have a whole lot of neighbors.
Do you hang out a lot here or not?
This is a good spot. This isn't bad. We watch a little football on television, watched my Bengals lose terribly. That was a
Are
that was
the
a good fun
colors
day
and
for
everything
me.
And the furniture, is that your choice or who decorated it?
This is not my choice. My friend Randy Gerber came in and said, "Listen, your house looks like a frat house,
What a surprise.
and it's time to be a grown-up."
Why are we surprised?
Here, come on, I'll walk you outside.
It's very beautiful, your home, George. It's very comfortable. It looks kind of,
It is.
it's not
Now,
too...
where is the screening room? Before you go outside, am I going to see the screening room?
I'm going to get you to the screening room.
Okay.
Are you looking for yourself?
Yeah. Yes.
Lara.
I want-
let me just
Don't go there, George.
Let me tell you what's
don't
happening.
Go there.
The reason that Charlie keeps talking about Ides of March is because he's in it.
Is he?
You played, and this is a stretch, you played Charlie Rose.
So you, Governor, would impose a death penalty?
No, I would commit a crime for which I would happily go to jail.
And how well did I
And you
do
did.
as Charlie Rose?
Honestly, you were the second best to audition for the part. It
Oh, that looks good outside there.
does look good. Now, if you look over here, Charlie, here, you can pan over there for a second.
Wow.
Now, you see
You
that.
have a modest wine
Now,
collection.
this is the screening room. There's a popcorn machine, which is important. And here's the thing. I've put a 3D projector in, and I can't, you know...
It's not you.
I kind of like it.
I can't get used to that look. I think this is why 3D is never going to, like, work. But I really do like watching movies.
When you watch a movie, do you look at it differently? I mean, are you looking things that might influence and advise, you know, and inform your directing and or acting?
You mean things I might steal?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
Oh, look, come here. Oh, look, who comes in?
Oh,
come
my
here, buddy.
God, there is Einstein.
That's Einstein.
Oh, wow.
See, now, if you look at that dog right there,
Yeah.
he's a very appreciative.
Yes.
He's very happy to be around. You want to go? Get out of here. He's going to go find some food somewhere. But films are a really big part of my life. You know, I really enjoy being in this business. It's a fun, it's an exciting business to be a part of, and to make films that last for a long period of time. Something that still talks about where we were at a certain time in our history.
George, this is really an interesting time in your life, it seems to me. I mean, here you are being lauded for The Descendants as an actor, lauded for Ides of March and other films as a director. You're pushing ahead and touching new frontiers. I mean, is this the best of times for George Clooney?
You know, the truth is, this is a really good time in my life. I'm in my work, which most people don't get the opportunity to do. I've been given sort of the keys to the toy box, and understand that I get to use it, and understand that that's a very temporary thing and it doesn't last for a very long time. So first and foremost, that's I have a great appreciation for the fact that I've caught the brass ring. That's a nice thing to do. And also, sort of in the rest of my life and in my family and in my friends and the people I care about, everybody's in a really good place. So it's nice. And understanding how temporary and how quickly those things change, sure, this is a really nice time in life.
George, thank you again. A pleasure.
Hey, it's good fun. See you guys.